Sugar Boogers, welcome back to the channel for a brand new video on how I create my Sims. So the very last time I did a video just like this was back in October of 2017. Now this one is going to be dubbed How I Create My Sims in 2019, just because I really do feel like this method of how I create my Sims is probably my most favorite method to date, and I definitely can foresee my Sims being created this way for the rest of the year. So if you guys are interested in checking out the way that I used to make my Sims, probably before I would say November of 2018, I will also link that video in the description down below. So this video, I'm going to go over quite a few different things. I have been asked time and time again how I create my Sims, what is the default skin that I use, the eyes, and all of that fun stuff. And I feel like it would be just a lot more easier for me and for you if I put it in one collective video and just update you guys on what I've been doing lately that makes my Sims look a little bit different than they normally do. And then also, I do have a couple like previous versions of how I used to make my Sims. Now, obviously, I used to be alpha, if you guys didn't know, and I don't have alpha in game, so I can't really like show that, but I can also like show you the different like styles of how I physically created my Sims. And at the end of this video, I will go through a step-by-step on how I create my Sims. So here we are with the infamous Brielle Crow from My Sims 4 Get Famous LP, and as you guys can see, well, she's quite the beauty. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are actually going to strip her down from any of her skin details, and you guys may notice a subtle difference, but it is there. Now the question I get, just probably more than any other question, is what is the default skin that I use? And it's crazy because I don't really notice it, but you guys do, and it's mind-boggling to me. But it isn't really anything too fancy. It's actually just the Mad Mono Night Skin. It's a beautiful skin. She has a bunch of different flavors and all different types of like skin details that just kind of change up the skin. I highly suggest you guys pick that one up. It's very natural, as you guys can see. It doesn't look like it doesn't belong to the game, and that's just been my aesthetic lately. I love to create the Sims 4 Sims, but better with my skin details. So if you guys didn't know, my current favorite skin of literal all freaking time, which definitely by a long shot passed my favorite skin before that, has to be this one here, and it is called the Marina Skin. I love this skin for so many reasons. I'm going to actually go ahead and remove Brielle's makeup so that you can see what it looks like in its entirety. So this is with the skin, this is without, with the skin, without. And if you guys can kind of notice, what it does is it creates a little more dimension around the eyes. It also helps kind of make the nose stand out a bit, and then the lips, it kills me. The lips are so beautiful. They're like naturally supple, which I seriously am obsessed with. Now, if you guys have been following me for a while or watched my other version of how I create my Sims, then you know that Jen was obsessed with this skin here. It is actually by, oh my god, I forgot. I forgot the name. It's called the Folie Deluxe, I think, and I really liked this one too. But the only thing that I don't necessarily like about it now is probably the dimension of the lips. And I feel like this skin here, the Marina Skin, is basically this skin, but better. Do you see what I'm saying? It kind of just changes the structure of the Sims' face, and it also just provides more natural details. I'm not going to lie, though, I really do like these skins. So either one that you choose, you truly cannot go wrong. I just feel like I have to add a lot less details on top of the skin to give the desired effect that I want. So that is the Marina Skin, and again, I will have all of these links and all of the details provided for you in the description below in case you guys want to pick up anything that you see here today. So let's go ahead and talk about eyes really quick, because again, this is another question that I'm constantly asked. What eyes do you use? So these ones actually, I do believe, are hard to get. And I mean that because ever since the whole Tumblr switch, I'm pretty freaking sure that this particular creator, Mandy, no longer is floating around the interwebs. So I'm not sure if you would be able to get your hands on these eyes. I'm not 100% sure. So I'll show you what those eyes are in just a second. However, the eyes that Brielle currently uses in our Get Famous LP are the Valentina eyes. And there are two different versions. There's one version that has like these smaller smaller dilated pupils, and then there's also a version with larger pupils. And typically, if I'm being honest, I am so picky when it comes to eyes. Like, I want them to look as natural as possible. I don't want them to look too cartoony or weird, whatever. But the way that these eyes capture in thumbnails and in screenshots and all that kind of stuff, it's just, they're beautiful to me and I love them. The only thing is like, I have to like randomize to be able to get to my other eyes. And because I have a million of these freaking presets, it's really freaking hard for me to refine the eye shape and switch up the eyes. So that's the only downfall to having a lot of eyes in your game. But it's really not that big of a deal, and I can easily work around it. So the other pair of eyes that I like are actually by the Sim Mandy. They're called the Lulz eyes, I guess. And I'm pretty sure they are, I'm not 100% sure because I get them freaking confused, but I think they're these ones right here. Yeah, so these are the eyes that I'm talking about. I love them. They also come in 2 different variations as well, like a more like pinpoint pupil and then a larger pupil. But I think these ones are really pretty, and 9 times out of 10, if you're watching a lot of my current LPs, you'll see these eyes on my Sims, especially like in the formants and things like that. The eyes I used to use before that, I can't remember the creator, but they looked like this. They will be linked in the previous How I Create My Sims video if you guys are interested. But if I remember, I will also link them down below. So these are basically the eyes that I use. I literally live for all these eyes, especially the ones that are currently on Brielle. So if you guys are interested in checking out some new eyes, hold on a second. I will again have those links provided for you in the description below. So I forgot one thing, and that is another vital skin detail that I love to use in addition to my skin. So with the Marina Skin, I also like to pair the nose mask, and I believe this nose mask is by Pixis, and it looks like this. I love all of the different nose tips that really just change the shape of the way your Sim's face looks. I just don't know what it is. I feel like these are such an easy character defining option that really can take your Sim making to the next level. I really do appreciate these. I think these are wonderful, amazing, and as you guys can see, I have a lot of stuff in here, but I'm kind of a simplistic person. I don't really need a lot. I also really like these moles here. Which weren't in my initial like list of things that I love, but I do reach for these a lot as well. But again, I'm just kind of like pointing out the more fundamental baseline things that I use like to a day-to-day. You know what I mean? Not like the other things that I use, but like the things I consider like to be essentials. And I definitely feel those moles are definitely one of them. So, okay, aside from the skin details and all of those amazing, wonderful things, I also, like many people, love the Kojiko lashes. So I'm aware, like, totally stripped her skins. That sounds weird, but I wanted to show these with you guys as well. If you have been ever like hesitant to install these, I'm telling you, like, it's a game changer. You need these in your lives. I love them so much. There's a whole bunch of different styles and options and colorways. Like, these are seriously everything, and I couldn't imagine my creative Sim experience without them. They are just wonderful. I guess one thing I will point out to you, versus my other previous versions of how I created my Sims, is they really lacked body diversity. That was a huge thing that I was getting on my channel. I'm still struggling very much, but the main thing was it was just the lack of sliders, and it was the lack of proportions and making things making things kind of look, in the realm of quote unquote normal, right? So I really did come across a huge set of presets and sliders and all these amazing things that really do help take my Sims to a whole nother realistic level, and I totally appreciate that. I will definitely link those presets and everything in the description, as well as probably, actually, I have a whole video on them if you're interested. But as you guys can see, like, compared to Riley Sterling's body and even the early Stella McCarthy, there's quite a huge change here. Like, her body is, it's slim thick. It has a lot more detail. It has a lot more, it has a lot more curves, and it's just more realistic. Even I could do the same with Riley, and I think I have actually. I switched her up a little bit, but what I'm explaining to you is that there is a way to have some sort of like curvature to your Sims' bodies. Like, I get it, everybody's body is different, whatever the situation may be. I'm not like, you know, thin shaming or anything. What I'm saying is like, even if your Sim is extremely thin, there are many ways that you can create realistic thin bodies with more diversity. And I feel like these presets and sliders are definitely a huge benefit to you and anybody who creates Sims. So as you guys can see, I have a lot of different presets in here, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Noses, we've got lips, we've got ears, and whether you know it or not, which I'm sure that you do, all of these little fine-tuning details really do bring out the character and uniqueness of each and every one of your Sims. And that is something I have come to appreciate and learn to work with, because for the longest time, even now, I still struggle, but for the longest time, I really was creating just the identical cookie cutter Sim style, body type, everything, time after time after time. Only difference was maybe like the makeup and custom content. So here I am again, kind of reiterating the fact that there are a ton of presets out there, a ton of sliders, all that kind of fun stuff. These presets are wonderful if maybe you want to kind of like take the guesswork out of, you know, switching your Sims' bodies up or whatever the situation is. For the actual like sliders I have, again, I have a video literally like describing what they do and how to activate them. But yeah, I'm able to like control the width of her thighs here, even the height of her calves, the thickness of her arms. I love it. I literally am so excited. I think they're wonderful and beautiful, and I'm so grateful, like seriously so grateful for custom content creators. They are literally the freaking creative geniuses behind Create a Sim. It's everything. Okay, so the last thing that I have to share with you guys is customized traits. Yes, I have been probably the last one to install these bad boys, but they literally are a game changer. There are so many to choose from, and they actually do affect the personalities of your Sims. Now, I've probably mentioned these a million freaking times, but I do actually have a dedicated video to this as well, where you guys can go and see kind of what they do in action. But I have a whole bunch of different options, from needy to negative to positive to shy to weather immune to sickly, even to mixologist. That might be one already. A mixologist, waterholic, writer, sporty, musically talented. That would be great for Get Famous. We also have like chatty and clubber, and just a wide variety of different personality traits that really will you guys make your Sims that much more lifelike. It's crazy to me. I really do wish that we were able to have more of these in game by EA, but for the time being, these definitely help, and this is certainly a step you don't want to skip. So the last kind of like off the radar thing before we actually create a Sim together is, how do I get my backgrounds to look the way that they do? I create my backgrounds by myself. I also have a blob remover for you guys, and if you're interested in like my in-cast lighting settings and all that kind of stuff, I will have a full-on type-up on everything that we are talking about here today on my website at XUrbanSimsX, in case you guys want to get those other things, just to make your cast look a little more vibrant and less dull and boring. You feel me? We're gonna go ahead and start off by creating a male Sim together, since this seems to be a lot of your guys' weak points, and I've had a lot of suggestions, or requests rather, to create some male Sims on camera for you guys, so that you can kind of see what my process is. I guess for a lot of people, male Sims are really hard to create, when it's actually the opposite for me. Female Sims are more harder for me to create than male, so I find that really interesting how different we are. So what I like to do with any Sim is I just start up a random, I guess, townie, or just whoever pops up on the screen, and I'll kind of like filter through a little bit until I get someone that I kind of feel like may fit my general idea of what I am going for. Again, 9 times out of 10, I typically don't have a game plan. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Again, it just kind of depends on if I'm doing an LP, if I'm creating a Sim for myself. But typically, I just create a Sim until I fall in love with them. It's kind of stupid, but that's just usually how the freaking cookie crumbles. So when I get something I feel like I can work with, the first thing that I like to do is usually I like to take their hair off. And I know that sounds really silly, but I also like to go and kind of give their eyebrow shape a little bit of a lift. And then I will strip them naked. Yep, that's right. I will literally get rid of all of their freaking clothes down to the socks. I'll start kind of playing around with their body types a little bit. I usually give them a very generic shape at first, just so I can play around with their features. And then as I feel like their personality evolves, I'll go around and change a few things. So we're gonna go and switch up his eyes because I'm not a huge fan of the way that his eyes look presently. And then usually I'll go in for the skin color, and that will kind of like set the pace for the way the rest of my sim's gonna look. And then I will go in with my skin details as well. I usually won't add in like my nose details or anything quite like that because I feel like it kind of just disrupts from the way that the sim is going to look. But I like to at least put on my base skin, and then later I go back in and I add those details. So now we've kind of got our general idea of how our sim is going to look. I love his face shape, but I love also to give my sims a very round like facial structure. So I like to make their heads look a little bit bigger than normal. I don't know why. I'll also go ahead and kind of play with their eye shapes a little bit until I get something that I feel is a little fitting and unique. I also love to give my sims like these oversized, I guess, irises too. I'm just kind of play with the corners, and I love big lips. I'm not gonna lie, like it's not something that I'm shy about. I love giving my sims big lips, especially by men. I like to make their lower lips a lot more luscious than the top. And look at him, like he's already looking like a freaking full-on course meal. So I think we're gonna give him maybe like a brown hair, okay? And for his nose, I actually do like his nose shape, but maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. And don't be afraid to exaggerate your sim's facial details. Like that was the thing that I feel like I used to always struggle with, is like just exaggerating things a little bit. Like sometimes it's okay. Like not everybody is perfect, and sometimes we don't always have proportionate facial features. So once I've got something that I kind of feel like I'm coming to close to completing, I'll go ahead and I'll kind of play with the hairs a little bit as well. Oh my god, I like this hair so much. He's kind of looking like a sim I created recently, but like I'm not even mad because he still has his like very own little personality. And I love to make my sims have, you know, ears that kind of like poke out a little bit. He's really cute, but I don't feel like his eyebrows are really suiting him actually. So, you know, I can just kind of play with those a little bit. And then also, I feel like at this point, if I wanted to make him look a little bit older, I'll go in and try to find like some facial hair add-ons. So I like that too. I think that's really cute. And maybe even we could go with, let's see here. What about the stubble? Ooh, okay. Just kind of depends. You know, I play around a little bit, but I don't really feel like the stubble on him. He literally looks like a sim I just recreated that long ago, but it's okay. He's a little bit different looking. So maybe we just give him black hair instead, and that might help change things up a little bit. Oh my god, he's fine. I'll go around, then I'll start like kind of playing with accessories a little bit too. I might actually make his lips look a little bit bigger. He seems like he would have very luscious lips. And yeah, then I would go in and I would probably match with that nose mask here. And I like that one because it also kind of emphasizes his nose structure. And there you go. So I feel like this guy, just from like the way that I made him, I feel like he would have more of like a huskier body type. And so I'm going to thicken out his trunk a little bit, his legs, his calves. I kind of want him to have a little more of a huskier body. And I can also use my preset or my sliders here to give him larger, I guess, what are these? Like thighs and calves, and make his feet also like be able to like support his body. And maybe we can go ahead and add a few like little tattoos here. I am having an issue where like every time I click something, my Sims' shoulders go back in. It's kind of annoying, but it's quite the easy fix. I think I like this tattoo the most on him. That's probably one of my favorites. So yeah, there you go. And then the last thing that you would do is obviously pick out an outfit. You could really go with so many different things. Research styles, literally look up other dudes on Instagram. Like, I'm not even kidding. It helps so much to be able to like captivate people's styles and stuff, and also try them on your Sims. Like, you might realize that, no, you know, my Sim, even though he does have a sporty body type, he's definitely not the person to rock a hoodie and some b-ball shorts. It just kind of depends on you and what you like and your preference, but also don't be afraid to play around a little bit just to kind of see what it is that you come up with. So here is a quick little overview of the sim we just created. Now, if you're probably wondering, Jen, how would I create some sort of backstory? I'm not really good at that. Honestly, you guys, I take inspiration from TV shows. I take inspirations from my favorite movies, my favorite books, all of those types of things. Inspiration is literally everywhere. Like, honestly, even Google search is your best friend if you can't come up with just random ideas yourself. Or you know what? Like, even just downloading Sims from the gallery with different backstories, or looking up Sims with different backstories, is a great way to start. Just even maybe going in and picking a random aspiration. So had your eyes closed and bam, maybe you hit fortune, and then you chose, you know, fabulously wealthy, and then you decided, well, maybe the Sim is looking for a quick come up, so he would probably be, my guess, like he would be let's do ambitious. You know, maybe he wants to hustle for his money, or maybe he takes a darker path. He's ambitious, but also he, you know, does some unorthodox things, and maybe also go in with something a little like not positive. Not that this is positive, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe like a fault, an Achilles heel. Maybe this person is clumsy, or he is sickly, or unathletic, or whatever the situation may be. You know, there are so many different things, so many things that you can play with, and you can create stories, and eventually you'll just start, it'll become natural. You'll start being able to really connect with a Sim, and I don't know, like just look at your Sim and think of him as if he was a person, and start trying to like piece together the puzzles that way, I suppose. For me, it just kind of comes naturally as I'm creating the Sim. So for the female Sim, I'm literally just going to do everything that I showed you guys with the male Sims. I'm actually going to speed this one up so that I can just focus on creating the Sim. And if you guys pay attention closely, you'll definitely see how I naturally progress through these steps.
You've always felt like a part of you has gone missing. I know it's real, but I'm telling you, it's closer than you know. I'm really trying to keep it cool now. Don't you see that you're a fool? Oh, it's time to open your eyes and let go. Oh, oh. You got a lot of exes, but none of them know you better. The stories you've heard could be you and I. Hey, let me explain, get to the reason why it's not us. You know there's no one else than me you trust. You know it's truth deep inside. Won't you let it go? Sick and tired of seeing you in pain. Your head's in a haze. Won't you lean on me? I'll catch you if you fall.
That is also how I create my female Sims. I do hope that you guys get the general idea. And another question that I receive constantly is, where do I find my custom content? Because as again, you guys already know that I do identify with Maxis Match the most. I definitely go on Alana CC Finds. It's a really great way that things are categorized, and you can like find different types of custom content, whether it be alpha, whether it be, you know, Maxis Matched, or maybe even down to a particular type type of alpha or MMCC, whether it just be hairs, makeup, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. So that's really helpful. And with that, I reblog all of the things that I find onto my Tumblr if you guys want to actually shop my closet. So how have my Sims changed throughout the years? Honestly, you guys, they have changed so freaking much. We started in 2015 with, pretty cute Sims, am I right? You know, just Z basics. And then we ended up creating more realistic Sims in 2017 and so on and so forth. I honestly feel though like 2018, 2019 is our year. Even if you go in on my gallery, oh my god, like go and view my catalog, you guys. Like, let's just for a second take a trip down memory lane. You can actually see the phases of how I created my Sims. So back when I used the Fully Deluxe skin all the time, even like furthermore when I probably didn't use really any skin whatsoever, even back when I was alpha. Yes, you guys, it used to be a freaking thing. I used to do alpha. I know it's crazy, but it's amazing how much my Sims have absolutely changed throughout the years. And even like with how I create them today, I am actually channeling some of the same techniques that I used to use way back in time. It's crazy to me, but either way, I love to kind of reflect and look back on my Sim creation journey. I can't even believe it, you guys. Like, some of these, they're not bad, but like, I just wonder what Sis was thinking. But my male Sims though, my male Sims have always been a snack, I swear. Like, I don't know. Anyways, it was definitely a fun, good look back. I hope this video was helpful to some of you. I know it was kind of lengthy and airy, but I do like to take my time and try to articulate everything that I am trying to share with you guys as, you know, neatly and concisely as possible. But at the end of the day, creating Sims is a complete and utter personal experience. It's not something that I can tell you how to do. It's just something you gotta kind of like open yourself up to do. It is an art, in my personal opinion. Just how you learn to build houses, you learn to build Sims. And for some of us, it comes a little more natural than others. But at the end of the day, with practice and determination, you can get exactly where you want to be. So with that said, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you did, you know what to do, boo. Don't forget to go ahead and comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below where the sun does not shine. And I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.